Recently, I trained for 2 weeks at the world's most visited tennis academy in the world, Mouratoglou. And today, I'm going to show you exactly what I did, how I trained, what professional tennis players were there, as well as whether I think their training method was effective, whether I'm going to go back there in the future, and finally, whether I think it's worth the hefty price tag that comes attached. So watch to the end to find out what I think, but let's jump straight in. So first, let's start off with what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. Usually, I'd start the day off with breakfast, followed by a personal strength and conditioning session where I was working on injury prevention and warming up for my first tennis session, which wasn't part of the Mouratoglou program, but something I found important. We then moved to the first tennis session of the day, which was for 90 minutes. Like I said, I had an injury during this week, so mainly I was focusing on the backhand side here, working on stuff that didn't cause me any pain. After the session, it was time to cool down and then go for lunch, making sure I'm hydrating and refueling for the sessions to come. After lunch, it was always time for a strength and conditioning session. I had Vašek, the fitness coach of Cam Norrie, for the entire 2 weeks, which was amazing. He was super professional, super nice guy. I really got a lot out of the sessions. And then it was the second tennis session of the day, usually a one-to-one session to focus on some specific stuff that I wanted to do. After a long day, it was usually time to go and do some recovery, either in the form of an ice bath or hot water submersion, and also maybe cryotherapy or boot compression on your legs, depending on what was available on the day. And after all of that, it was time to go to bed. So as you can see, a day was usually pretty action-packed. Over the 13 days that I was there, I had 12 tennis sessions. Of course, that was slightly impacted by the fact that I was injured, so some days I wasn't playing. If you want to know more about my injury, go and watch our latest video of Road to 1 ATP Point that I posted last Sunday. I had 12 fitness sessions over the 13 days. There was a good focus of strengthening, speed, footwork, all of the different areas of strength and conditioning, so it wasn't just all in the gym. I saw the physio 6 to 8 times. Of course, that was more than usual because of my injury, working on some muscle releases, strengthening exercises, as well as some rehab work during the 2 weeks. Now, of course, Mouratoglou wasn't just training and preparing for tournaments. We also did some filming for YouTube. We managed to film with the main man himself, Patrick Mouratoglou, who guided me through a session, gave me some tips on my backhand and the backhand slice that was super useful, that I'm going to go into future training sessions and actually use.
Come, yes, that's the one. Stop, push. Yes, again. Wow. I think we have to stop on this one.
We also filmed with Jules Marie, a fellow tennis YouTuber and professional tennis player, and we did a 1v1 to see who really is the better tennis YouTuber. Also guys, whilst we're on the topic of YouTube, we just hit 100,000 subscribers thanks to your guys' support. Our next goal is to hit 200,000 by the end of the year, so to make it happen, go down there and smash that subscribe button. And of course, when we were there as well, it was warm up to French Open, so there were loads of professional players training around the grounds, including TFO, who was an absolute beast on the court, Halep, who was actually being coached by Patrick Mouratoglou himself, and of course Goff, who got to the final of the women's event, so clearly had a good preparation phase. So now with all of that said, do I think that training as part of the pro team at Mouratoglou Tennis Academy is actually an effective and efficient way of training? So let's take a look at the pros and the cons of training at Mouratoglou and whether I think it's effective. So let's start off on the pros. There was a lot of volume, of course, with 3 hours of tennis per day, meaning you're going to hit a lot of balls, which is also going to mean you're going to improve really, really fast. The S&C made sure that you were in shape and also to make sure that you weren't getting injured. Now, the training environment I found was really professional. Big shout out to Zhao and Chris, who were the 2 tennis coaches I had, specifically putting my needs of focusing on the backhand into the sessions and also doing lots of one-to-one sessions to accommodate my needs. And of course, on the fitness side, my sessions with Vašek were super structured, super fun. I did them either alone or with someone else. It was super specific to what I needed to do on a daily basis.
That's it, that's it, that's it. Come on, more, push, excellent, that's it. More, higher. Arms, keep going, keep. Oh, okay.
The last pro that I would see is that the day would be super structured. I would know what I'm doing before I start the next day, so I can really prepare myself to work hard instead of thinking about what I need to do when that's going to be best for me. Now on the con side, playing that much tennis and doing that much S&C can be difficult, and it's tough to see where the line is of how hard you need to push yourself on a day-to-day basis, because doing 2 weeks of that training is going to be super brutal on the body, but that's going to improve the more I play and the more tough training sessions that I do. And secondly, of course, the temperature for me was super hot as to what I'm used to here in the UK, which made it super difficult to kind of acclimatize at the beginning, but I did know that going forwards it was going to help me in my futures tournaments that I was playing in Monastir in Africa. So in conclusion, would I find that their training method was effective? Of course, it's one of the best academies in the world, and I would be worried if it really wasn't, and I can definitely say that the weather was 10 times better, and just for that reason alone, I would go back. But quickly, before we come to the price, I would like to quickly say thank you to Mouratoglou and Dunlop for paying for the 2 weeks that I was there, so I actually got those weeks for free and didn't have to pay anything to prepare for my tournaments. Now, an average week at the academy is going to cost between 1,500 and 2,500 euros, with everything included from tennis to fitness to accommodation. Now, personally, I was part of the elite team training program, which you can't actually book online, which you specifically have to email and talk to Mouratoglou about, so there wasn't actually a price set on that program because I was getting it for free. I also can't really speak on the quality of the camps because I wasn't on them, but what I can say is that firstly, the weather was unbelievable the 2 weeks that I was there, so if you're going in the summer, it's unbelievable. The facilities that they have there are pretty much second to none. I've never been to an academy with such amazing resources, as well as the coaches bringing an amazing vibe and energy to every single session. And now, with all of that said, will I be returning to the academy? I definitely think so. I really enjoyed it the first time, and I really enjoyed it the second time now as well. Even though I was injured, I still had an amazing time and met loads of new people, made loads of new friends, which was super awesome. And hopefully I can go back to Mouratoglou and train for some more futures tournaments, which I will hopefully play this time instead of being injured. Make sure you go check out the videos that I filmed with Jules and Patrick in the link in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one.